Here we are. No matter where you are going to be at Thanksgiving, whatever those plans are, Sebastien Centner has the perfect appetizer and wine pairings for you to try this Thanksgiving. Your relatives are going to go, oh my gosh, he got so sophisticated over the lockdown. How are you, Seb?
I'm great. How are you, Marilyn?
I'm really good. I'm looking at these three beautiful tables, and I'm telling you, they look so appetizing, and you're going to tell us that they're really easy to do. Plus, you're going to tell us what the wine pairing is. So let's start with this butternut squash soup. Let's do it.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do for all the courses today is I'm going to show you how to do them two ways. One way, which is perfect for a cocktail party, so a smaller version that you can carry around where you've got a drink in hand, and a second version, which is going to be a plated meal. So it's going to be something you can actually serve if you're doing a plated dinner or plated lunch, things of that sort. So starting with the butternut squash, the first thing I'm going to show you, and I think you probably have some smaller glasses in front of you, but I've done these individual servings in little wine glasses, and you've got little shot glasses. So the idea there is that I'm doing a butternut squash soup. It's super, super simple. I've garnished it here with a little bit of sour cream, some chive, and a little bit of thyme. You can serve it as this individual portion. This is a great little starter. Or you can do a little shot, which is really just sort of like to start the meal off. Then what if you want to do is if you want to make this more of a plated meal, I found this really fun way to take these acorn squash, fill them with the soup, garnish them with, again, the same garnishes. I just added a little bit of baby kale and a little bit of paprika. And to serve this as a plated dinner, it's just a really nice way to start the meal off.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's hearty, plus, you know, that's a lot of fiber. I like it. I like it a lot. So, and there's no dishes. That's another great thought that you have.
We're starting it warm.
Yeah.
Less dishes. That's right. I always look for less work. You know me. Then what we did was I paired that. So every course I'm going to pair with wine. Yeah. This one, what we did is, so I paired this with a Chardonnay. So this is a Chardonnay. It's one of my favorites because, you know, Chardonnays are typically very buttery. This one has that butteriness to it, but it's also kind of crisp. So it's not overpowering. So it's got some nice flavors to it. It works really well with things like butternut squash, with cheeses, with things of that sort. So you feel like it's something that complements it, but doesn't overpower the course.
So it's chilled in the refrigerator, then you bring it out unless you have a wine refrigerator, and it should be served chilled. Now, I've got a question for you. I don't know how many numbers people are going to have over Thanksgiving, depending on what province you live and what the restrictions are. So when you are planning for this cocktail party, for example, and you're showing up with these shot glasses, how do you measure how much you should be serving? And wine included. Like, if you're having 8 people over and you're going to serve the Chardonnay, how many bottles of wine should you get? I never know that.
Well, I mean, it depends a little bit on who's coming over.
Yeah.
As I think we've experienced. So if you have wine drinkers, you might want to have a bit more. Here, okay, if it's not us, then it's probably just normal amounts. So here's what I say: err on the side of caution. When it comes to wines, most liquor stores, wherever you are across Canada, will actually take the bottles back if they're unopened. So my suggestion is always have more rather than less. You don't open them all right away. And then if you find that you're not going to go through it, the worst case scenario, you're either going to be returning it or you'll keep it for another day, but it's definitely better than the alternative, which is to run out of wine at any dinner party. Right.
Are you doing on the so for the average person, is a couple, would it be 1 bottle per couple per couple? No, not Chris. Well,
I mean, you're going to get 5 glasses.
The crew is going, are you kidding me, Marilyn? Go ahead.
No, of course not. It's at least 2 bottles to work on the Marilyn Denis show. So you get 5 bottles out of a glass. So here's the rule of thumb. You get 5 bottles out of a glass out of a bottle of wine. You get 6 glasses of champagne or sparkling wine out of a bottle of sparkling wine. So you kind of have to look at it that way. Generally speaking, you're going to go through probably 2 to 3 glasses per person over a course of a dinner, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on your crowd. So if you look at that, take the total number of glasses you think you're going to serve, divide it by 5, that's how many bottles you need.
Beautiful, thank you. And do not count on these guys for giving me any kind of equations because they can't. Okay, so next up is this fall salad with figs. It looks delicious. Tell us about this.
Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken a salad, and this is, again, we're trying to use some colors of the fall and really some vegetables and stuff that really, scream fall. So I've got a little bit of radicchio in there. We're obviously using some figs, which adds a bit of sweetness to it. We've got some Italian parsley. We've got some crumbled feta, walnuts, balsamic, and, of course, the endives. So it's a salad that's nice and hearty. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but, again, it's got that great fall color that's really helpful to use this time of year.
Oh, it looks so delicious. And I see you've paired it with what? Prosecco.
So I paired it with Prosecco, but before I go to the Prosecco, I want to show
Sure.
you one quick thing. Another thing which I did was, if you want to serve this as a stand-up, what we did is we did these little endive leaves. So basically, it's really simple.
Yeah.
It's an endive leaf that I added goat cheese, a little bit of crumbled walnut, and a little bit of fig to it. And I'm going to show you how I demo this really quickly, because this is important. And you get all these recipes on marilyn.ca.
Yeah.
So I'm starting out with the endive leaf, and what I'm doing is I'm dipping it in a little bit of lemon juice, and that's going to stop it from browning. Then all I do is I simply add my goat cheese onto it like this. Then, oops, there we go. I add a little bit of my crumbled walnut on top.
Great, yeah.
And then I'm going to put just a dab of olive oil and a fig, and there you go. And this is a very simple one bite. Now, this is, again, great if what you're doing is you're doing anything which you want to be able to have a drink in hand as well, which takes us, of course, to our sparkling wine, or our Prosecco in this case. So what I selected here to pair it with is a La Marca Prosecco. And the reason I selected this one is because obviously you're going to get the bubbles from the sparkling. I wanted something that wasn't too overpowering. So it's crisp, it's light, it's also inexpensive. So, you know, you can go through lots of bottles. And it's really well suited to things like anything that's fruity, that has kind of the figs and even the walnuts and stuff, really brings out that flavor.
I love it. I love it. I raced right to the liquor, as you could tell on that one. Let's go to the next one. Charcuterie board, which is fantastic.
That's okay.
Now, charcuterie boards are really interesting because of what we've gone through. The big boards we're not really doing as much. We're kind of doing individuals now, aren't we, a little bit more, because of the shared food idea.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And Marilyn, you know, we talk about charcuterie boards and cheese boards a lot on the show. I'm a huge fan. There's nothing better than a great charcuterie board or a spread. But we do have to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, sharing food nowadays with everything going on is a very sensitive item. So what we did today is we're going to show you how to do it two ways. If you're doing more of a plated meal, what I set up here basically was a really, really simple way to do individual plates of charcuterie. So it's got all the things you normally have on a charcuterie plate. It's got a couple of types of cheeses, a couple of types of meats. I've got 3 different types of crackers and crostini. I've got some olives, some grapes. And really, you can add to this. You can do little bocconcinis. You can do gorgonzola. You can do all these sort of things. That's for an individual. And I've done it two ways. So first of all, I did it on a bamboo plate because it's nice and disposable, fully compostable, or of course, you can use the regular plates that you have around the house. Now, the other thing we did was, if this is a cocktail party, obviously you're not going to be sitting there with a plate of charcuterie and a glass. It's just too cumbersome. So we came up with this really fun idea of creating these little charcuterie cups. So these are fantastic because you can aren't they cute? You can prepare everything ahead of time, skewer it all, and literally just assemble right before your guests come. And it's a really, really easy way to serve this while somebody can also be standing around enjoying a cocktail and conversation. And I can either, if you'd like, I can show you how to put that together, or I can jump right to wine because I know you like. I know you like to talk about wine.
Do it. I'm gonna, while you're doing that, can you just show me?
All right, let's do it.
You've got. But before you do that, show me the finesse in which you would eat this on the stick. Over to you. Because it looks...
All right, so here's what I'm going to show you. Now, so the great thing about the stick here is that what I'm going to do is the stick is basically your serving utensil. This is why you don't need any serving utensils for it. So I started with a stick like this. I'm basically going to skewer it, starting with the olive. Then what I'm going to do is, if you notice, I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on there, and then I'm going to fan it out, because you know me, I'm all about presentation. So I'm going to fan it out a little bit. Then I'm going to take one of the salamis. I'm going to fold it 3 times. And just skewer it on here. And look how easy this is to do. Then, for example, I can add little bocconcinis. I can add, for example, maybe a little bit of prosciutto, whatever I want to add to it, and then finish it with one more olive. And there we go. We've got this little great skewer. So what I do now is I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to add a few crackers to it. Keep it really, really simple. Maybe throw another piece of cheese in there. We're going to put a piece of salami right on the edge, almost like a little garnish, because it's a nice way to present it. But the great thing about this is that even once you finish your skewer, you can use that to grab the other olives, to grab little bocconcinis. So really, you need nothing else but this and maybe a cocktail napkin, and you're good to go.
Okay, eat that right now. Let me see how you eat that. Come on.
You want me to? Okay, here we go.
I like it. We're at a cocktail party.
You know what? I'm taking the black olive off because I'm not a huge fan. So watch.
Okay. Okay,
there we go. Good. See?
Perfect.
Oh, wow,
okay.
that's really good.
That's really good. Love it. We've got time now. I love these. I do love these separate servings. I think they're really, they present so beautifully. And then we got about a minute and a half to talk about this Cabernet. So tell me about it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about wines and pairing. I really believe strongly that it's really great if you can pair each of your courses with a wine. So this is a Cab Sauvignon. It's a Californian Cab Sauvignon. Again, I try and find wines that are accessible, meaning that you're not going to blow the budget on this.
Right.
They're really, this is a great wine because it's full bodied, but it's not overpowering. It's not like you're getting a wine that's like, wow, it's just so strong. So one of the things about pairing wines, I believe very strongly, it doesn't matter how much you know about wine or how little you know about wine, pick wines that you like. So I picked a Cab Sauvignon because it's a little bit more bold. It's got full body, which works really well with the cheeses and the meats and the olives. But if, for example, if you're not a huge red wine fan or you don't like bold red wines, go with a Pinot Noir, Californian Pinot Noir. It's lighter. It's a little bit more airy. It's still going to work great. And really, it's about what you like. It's not necessarily about what I tell you to drink.
Right, but it's great for your suggestions, and we love all of your suggestions. Thank you, Sebastien. So good to see you.
It's great to see you, too. Happy Thanksgiving. Cheers.
Cheers to you, and happy Thanksgiving to you, Sheila, and the boys. All right, we're going to take a break, everybody. We'll be right back.